and we're just hey, see, I told you she put the makeup on. People that evacuated, we're praying for you and hoping and praying that you are safe, and it's all part of God's plan, and He's going to work everything out for you, whatever you're doing and whatever you condition you're in. Also, those that we want to pray for is those that's have family members that is ill from the coronavirus, or we call it COVID-19. And that is also something that we are also praying that you those praying for you for strength, and I have a few friends that has COVID-19. I'm praying for you as well. Again, Knowledge is Power podcast live. We're here every Sundays and Tuesdays evening at 7:30. We're starting early today because I had to move some rescheduled guests because of the absentee of the being out evacuated last week. So we didn't have any shows last week and past Sunday. But we're here tonight, and we're going to be talking about building wealth. I will be talking about building wealth and on the financial side, and I have Ladonna Sherwood, which is who is my co-host at times. If I get on, get it here on
Don't
time.
start that today. Don't start that
She is.
today.
She is. Actually, she is. Going to be talking about insurance, and she's in the insurance field. Been in the insurance fields for many, many years, and we're going to help those in our community on their insurance. We're talking about home, car, recreation vehicles. We're going to make sure that you have the right insurance, what type of insurance to get, and it's going to be very helpful to a lot of you all to be able to make sure that you have the right type of insurance. And because we do live in a flood zone, and we need to really talk to you about that. Make sure you have that type of insurance and get the right insurance when you're doing purchase those insurance. And we're going to talk about we're going to talk about cars too, right? We have car insurance and home insurance, and we got windstorm. So you know the difference between the type of insurance that you need.
Okay, let
And
me ask you a question before we go on. Are you linked
yeah,
to your Facebook page? Because I don't see it. I was going to share the link, but I don't see it on your page.
I'm
It's
going to
okay.
link to it. I'll go to it right now and get it all linked up. I think I am. Yes,
Okay.
I am. I'm looking, but I'll follow while you going into your spiel. But also, we're going to have another special guest that's going to join us also, and she is the founder of Love Thy Neighbor Beaumont. Her name is Bequita Hernandez Smith. She's the founder of Love Thy Neighbors in Beaumont, and she's going to be sharing with the community the help that she's needing right now in the group meeting, and she's going to be co-jointing with the NAACP and helping our neighbors in Orange, Texas, and Lake Charles, making sure we supply them with things that they need during this Hurricane Laura disaster. So we're going to be full up today with the show. So she's going to join us pretty soon, and we'll get started with that. And I will get with my girl, Ladonna. You go with your spiel, girl.
Okay, so I'm super excited to be with you guys today. And so we can talk a little bit about insurance and what's needed and what type of dialogue you should have and when is it appropriate to file a claim and when is it not appropriate to file a claim and who to contact when you're in need of filing a claim. My mother, Jewel Cole, I may as well go ahead and plug Jewel Cole Farmers Insurance since I'm on the show. We're located in the Gateway Shopping Center, right next to Roomba, across the street from the main gateway where the old movie theater used to be. We're at 3725 Stag Drive, Beaumont, Texas. And due to COVID, we're only open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the office. But on Tuesday and Thursday, you can still reach us. We're just not there. The phone number at our office is 409-835-3935 for all your insurance needs. Okay, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Insurance can be a very tricky animal, and oftentimes we pay for insurance, but we don't really know what it does or when to use it and all of these different things. First things first, you have your homeowner's policy, which is basically a fire policy. This covers theft and fire. Basically, that's all. You have separate policies that cover windstorm, that cover flood, okay? These policies are written through national or statewide insurance departments, not just your big three like Farmers and State Farm and Allstate. These are written through Texas Windstorm, okay, which we call TWIA for short, okay? So with that being said, your homeowner's policy is only going to cover your things in known perils, such as fire or burglary or things of that nature. It's not going to cover you for hail or tornadoes or hurricanes or any type of windstorm damage. It's not also going to cover you for flood, because flood is written through the National Flood Department, which is an agency that only covers flood, and they've decided what the flood plains are. What's the 100-year flood plain? And if you're in that area. For a long time, different parts of Beaumont didn't flood. You never saw any flooding in those areas. And now the flood and drainage maps are being redrawn to include different areas because of the Harvey. Harvey took it up a notch. With that being said, windstorm is going to cover you for hail and wind damage only. Now, sometimes your fire policy and your windstorm policy are together. Say, for an example, Farmers has a renter's insurance. Inside of the renter's insurance is a windstorm policy built into it. Your agent will help you decide the amounts of coverage you're going to need in the event of a hurricane or a flood. And we're going to base that off of the values from the appraisal district and what we think is going to take to rebuild your home. We also add in a cost of living increase, because when you purchase the policy, you may purchase it and your house is only worth $120,000. Well, in 5 years, the property value may have increased, and yet you may need to rebuild, and that may be $150,000 or $160,000 to rebuild exactly what you have. Farmers is one of the only companies that covers 100% of water damage outside of your flood policy if it's a broken or busted pipe. Most companies are only going to cover, I think it's a $5,000 cap on what they'll cover for busted pipes or leaky water heaters or things of that nature. I'm super excited to introduce and announce that Farmers is also writing windstorm through different companies. Windstorm is your more expensive insurance. So the more players that you have in the game, the more reduction you can get on pricing, because oftentimes when people purchase insurance, they purchase it for what they can afford, not for what they need. And oftentimes what you will find is that you're undercovered. You don't want to be overcovered. You have agents that'll do that too, but for the most part, we find that people are undercovered. And I'm just excited that now we can write through not only TWIA, but Velocity, which is another company, and we can kind of offer some different products, which is giving people a break on pricing, which will hopefully get them covered at what they really need to be covered at. So there's 3 different policies. They all do something different. Every now and then you can find a policy that will lump fire and wind together. But you got to be careful, because that's going to kind of diminish the amount of coverage that you're getting on certain things. Now, that flood policy is only going to cover you for rising water. I mean, it's not going to cover you for anything else. It can't be like rained in water. It has to be rising water, which is a big distinction that oftentimes agents fail to explain to people, which when they go to make a claim matters the difference. And you have to be knowledgeable about what products you have and what they do. As far as auto insurance, because we have a lot of people that sometimes their car is involved in the flood and they're like, oh, my car wasn't covered. Well, your car isn't covered if you don't have comp and collision. So you may have liability only, or different types of auto coverage is going to
Ladonna,
yes.
Ladonna, can you hear me? Hey, yes. we're gonna restart the show. Okay. Because as soon as we started, the I guess it was a network problem issue because we lost the first 10 minutes of the show and
Oh,
while you were speaking. So I'm going to ask if you would start over. That now that we're back on, I hate to do that, but
that's
we
okay.
had I don't know, it just went out just like that. You started spinning and we went out. So I had my IT guy come in here and reconnect us back. But
Okay,
um, so
no problem.
it should be, it's probably was in this area because I noticed
Yes,
another
the internet, right?
right internet issues in this area. So that just happened. So anyway, so we're going to start all over again, and
Okay,
let
no
me
problem.
make
I got
sure
you.
that let make sure that they know that we're on
And let me
and
see if it's on your Facebook so I can share it. Did you link that?
yeah. Uh, I thought I did. Let's see here. Let me go here and link it from here. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, I see it.
You
Okay.
see it? Okay, now we're on now, right?
Well, yes.
Okay. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start all over. Uh,
No
so
problem.
so let's you pick up your spiel where you started because that's where I think that's where we started from. Okay, so let the audience know that we had some technical difficulty.
Okay.
I guess it was Wi-Fi or internet issues, and
Gotcha.
not only knowledge is power had it, but other areas has an issue with the
Gotcha.
internet right now. But we're back on. So again, people, we are having a show tonight on knowledge is power, and we're talking about building wealth, and then I'll speak on that. And also we have Ladonna Sherwood with Farmers Insurance, and also Ladonna is a co-host of Knowledge of Power Podcast Live, and we're going to talk about insurance right now on the type of insurance you need, what you're going to need, and some of you are going through a crisis right now because we just come out of a hurricane. Hurricane Laura, and some of you might be listening, and if you are listening or watching, uh, please take notes of what we're talking about because this can help you during this time. And our neighbors in Orange, Texas, and Lake Charles, Louisiana, are going through a crisis, and you're going to need some of this information going forward. And we're still in hurricane season, and by being in the hurricane season, we don't know what's going to happen, and September is the peak month of hurricane season. So we want to make sure that you have the right information on making sure if you do have insurance, make sure that you have the right insurance, and because sometimes you have insurance but not have the right coverage. So we want to help you with that, and this is what knowledge is power podcast live as far as educating the Southeast Texas community on important information that is needed in all times. And again, LaDonna Sherwood, my co-host. Go with it, my girl.
I'm super excited to be here, and I'm glad that he said that September is the peak of hurricane season because that's huge. What we had happen when Laura hit is farmers shut down. I didn't mention this earlier, but let me tell you, that is imperative to note because when a storm is in the Gulf, you can't write any new business. So we need to make sure that with the storms that may come, that you're proactive on your coverage and getting some insurance ASAP. Don't wait until the last minute and, oh, there's a storm in the Gulf and I'm going to get it today. No, it doesn't work that way. Insurance does have a deadline. They have a cutoff. When there's activity in the Gulf, they are not writing any new business. So this is imperative. We're located in Gateway on 3725 Stag Drive, right next to Roomba. And our phone number is 409-835-3935. But to just piggyback on that, we had so many people calling like 2 days before the storm. Oh, we want to get insurance. Well, guess what? One, the insurance office was closed because we had an evacuation. And two, farmers had already stopped writing business on that Monday before Marco and Laura came at like noon. So we were scurrying around trying to make sure that we took payments to make sure that people had insurance. That's not the way you want to handle your business. That's just not appropriate. And given that it is hurricane season, I do recommend that people look into flood insurance. It's relatively inexpensive and it covers you for the entire year, which is huge. So Let me talk a little bit about your basic fire policy and your windstorm and your flood and what they each do, just a little bit briefly, because I know Tony may want to chime in with a few questions. Your regular insurance policy that you have on your home is basically for fire and known perils like burglary and if it gets struck by lightning and things of this nature, but that's not going to cover you for wind and hail. That's not going to cover you for flood. Those are all going to be separate policies. Now, with that being said, your basic fire policy is going to do just that. If your house burns down, then it's going to cover you for that. Farmers does have a policy that we introduced that does cover busted and leaky pipes, which a lot of insurance agencies and companies don't do. They have a cap. And so they're only going to cover you for about $5,000 worth of those damages, where Farmers does cover 100% of water as long as it's broken or leaky pipes above ground. Flood is going to be your policy that's going to cover rising water, which means it's starting from below ground. And windstorm is going to cover you for wind and hail damage. That's going to be broken windows or blown off shingles, or the roof is raining and things of that nature. That's what your windstorm policy is going to do. What we often find is that people buy insurance based on what they can afford, not based on what they need, as in replacement value. And that's something that you're going to have to speak with your agent about. And we're going to derive that replacement cost from the appraisal district. And that's what we use as kind of a guidepost to kind of determine what's the amount of coverage that you need. Now, in your basic fire policy, there are also going to be things that are not going to be covered, or they're going to have a maximum amount of coverage. And that's when you have to start scheduling items. You have these gun enthusiasts, or you have ladies that have fur coats, or you have people that like to keep cash in the house, or for the people that have a lot of diamonds and jewelry and things of that nature. Those things are only going to be covered to a certain amount unless they have been scheduled on your insurance policy. And I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail. I'll let Tony jump in here, but I also want to bring up auto insurance briefly. A lot of times what we find is that people have auto insurance and they're wondering why they're causing a flood and it wasn't covered. Well, if you don't have that comp and collision portion of it and you only have liability, this is why that's not covered, So a full coverage policy is going to cover you for different types of incidences, different types of situations other than collision.
No, you go ahead on, because I'm going to ask questions after
I
this.
just go on and on and on.
But I want to make sure. I want to make sure that the audience know that if they have any questions, they can ask those questions in the comment box. Right. And also, if you're watching and listening, please share it. Share our page, our podcast, and we are on Facebook and YouTube live. So I'm going to ask a question here now. Okay. You mentioned that buying flood insurance, you have to buy that 30 days ahead of time.
You do. You have to have flood insurance 30 days in advance. So what happens is it takes 30 days to take in effect. So let's just say I purchased my policy today. It's not going to start until October. So that's a big deal. For some of us who now we know that we're in the middle of hurricane season and, I want to get a flood policy. Let's be knowledgeable that policy will take 30 days to take in effect, but it does cover you for the entire 12 months. So It'll cover you until October of next year, which will cover you through hurricane season next year. But that's a huge part of it. Flood does take 30 days. And let's be mindful that when there's a storm in the Gulf, they will cut it off. They have a cutoff time period that they're not going to write any new business. Windstorm is what I would really recommend right now. But for some of you that had flooding during Harvey, the flood lines are being redrawn. So we have what's called the 100-year floodplain that originally a bunch of people were not in. But after the recent flooding of Imelda and Harvey, and I forget the other one, those flood districts are being redrawn. So it's of the utmost importance to be proactive instead of reactive. And I always say insurance is money when it matters most. It's better than begging and borrowing, baby.
Yes, you're right. Because you can purchase wind insurance now, and but as long as now you're saying as long as You can write that policy up, and as long as the storm is not in the Gulf.
Currently, right now, or pending.
Right.
What farmers did last time, they started limiting the policies on Monday. The storm didn't hit here until Thursday, but we had Marco that was. So what they do is a few days out, they just stopped. They just stopped writing new business. Period.
So you hear
Yeah,
that?
but for now, we're up and running. We're at full capacity. We were gone with the evacuation for a little bit, but Monday we came back on. Today's Tuesday, and we've seen just a spike in people coming in trying to get a policy or want to know about insurance and things of that nature. Now it's a good time, but as far as flood, it's going to take 30 days. So I mean, I would recommend in renters insurance. Renters insurance is inexpensive. I'm thinking $15 to $30 per month to cover your things. Believe me, the property owner has their property covered. Your things are the things that are not going to be covered if you're renting. And that renter's policy has windstorm built into it, which is a blessing. And it does cover loss of use as long as your deductible is met. And loss of use means when you have to evacuate and you come home and there's damage, you maintain those receipts. As long as you've met your deductible, your home has been damaged. Well, let me back up. You have damage. The damage supersedes your deductible. Once your deductible is met, then you get to start recouping some of those costs that you've incurred while you were on the evacuation. And that renter's policy, like I can't stress this enough, is inexpensive. I've been telling my friends, I tell my family, get you a renter's policy, $25,000 or $35,000 on your things that's going to cover you. And it covers the things that you may take with you. Let's just say I pack up some TVs or I pack up my stuff and then my stuff gets stolen, or that renter's policy is going to carry you over. It comes with you. It will carry your things that's at your house and it will carry the things that you take with you. I mean, and for inexpensive, reasonable amount, it makes no sense not to do it versus waiting on FEMA, who may kick in and may not kick in.
I did not know that. I did not know you can take, it's covered with the things that you take with you as well.
Exactly. It follows the things. That's what the policy does. It follows your stuff. And if you have things in your apartment or in your rent house that you're renting a home from somebody, you want to schedule certain things, like I said earlier, that's important. Let's just say I have a $7,000 diamond ring and I didn't schedule it. They only may cover me for 2,500 of that or 3,000 of that because they cap that at a certain amount. Now, my ring is worth $7,000. They're only going to give me what the policy allows. They're not going to go $1 over what the policy allows if you haven't scheduled that item. Let's say I have a firearm. I'm licensed to carry. I have a firearm, and my firearm is $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and I'm evacuating, and I don't want to leave my firearm, and then somebody breaking my car and steal my firearm. If that item isn't scheduled, they're only going to pay you what's allowed for firearms on that policy. So I also want our people to become acclimated with scheduling things. We need to schedule our more expensive items. Schedule your firearms. Schedule your diamonds. If you keep cash in your house, you can take a picture of it and schedule that money. This is my money that I have in my house, and I can schedule that. I can schedule my fur coat. So these people that want to Gucci, Louis, Fendi, all of this stuff they buy and have in their house worth thousands of dollars. Now you're renting a house, but you got $1,000 items. I ain't judging.
That's about right. That's about right.
Right. But what I want to suggest to you on the insurance side is schedule those expensive items. Schedule those things that are worth $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 because it's not going to be covered. Only what the policy allows is what the coverage amount will be.
Did you get that, folks? We're getting some information here that needs to be known, and of course, we don't know everything. So this is why I bring these certain guests on that as experts in what they do for a living. Right. Now let's talk about now the regular insurance that you purchase. Now, wait a minute. Let's say you're a landlord and you have several rental property. Right. When you purchase, that landlord purchased the windstorm. he can also purchase the rental insurance, or excuse me, or the tenant
The
purchase the
tenant
rental insurance.
purchases renter's insurance. The property owner is going to purchase property insurance. They may both be written through the same company of Windstorm. So as a renter, you may have your property covered with Farmers. As a renter, I may have my renter's insurance with Farmers. Or as a business owner, let's just say, the building may be covered with TWIA, but if I'm only renting this one room, my stuff needs to be covered through TWIA as well. And as a business owner, you know what else I want to bring up? I'm glad you said that. As a business owner, if you have Windstorm, you can purchase a portion of the policy that will cover you for the days that you have to be away. So let's just say I'm a business owner, L&L Transport. Now the building is inoperable. There have been shingles blown off and the roof is leaking and we can't use the building. Well, if we can't use the building, then I can't conduct business. I can purchase a portion of Windstorm that will allow me to get paid a certain amount per day. It's called loss of use. So as long as there's no use in my building and I can't use it, it can be to whatever the damage is. As long as I meet my deductible and I've purchased the loss of use portion, I can get up to $500, $600, $700, $800 a day while I'm evacuated, or while my business is being repaired, or while whatever the situation may be. As a business owner, which I have this myself, so I purchased it. Whereas if L&L Transport cannot work or run due to hurricanes or wind damage or something happens to the building, now they're going to pay me $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 a day while I'm gone. Now that is beautiful. Wouldn't you agree? You're out of work. You can't. The storm has damaged your building. Your people can't go to work. You can't get into the building. Now I've purchased an insurance to cover what I think I may need while I'm gone. Where can you? Now that is a beautiful thing.
Right. Now it's like I'm saying, this month we're in the peak of hurricane season, and we are still open until November. The season is open until November. And I suggest that anyone that's watching this show, or listening, or today, or tomorrow, next week, or week after, I would recommend you to make sure that you have the right policies for your home, your cars, your whatever that needs.
And not only that, but revisit your policies. Because what happens is you need to do a reevaluation of what you have. You need to contact your agent and you need to say, hey, I need to go over, I want to sit down and go over my insurance. I want to have like a policy evaluation period where we just kind of go over what's covered, what's not covered, how much coverage do I have? Do I need to change these amounts? Is this really going to replace my stuff? Do I have enough?
Right. You know, that is very important. They revisit their policy to make sure they have the right type of policy. They could have maybe you could have policies and not have the right coverage,
or not enough to really replace your things. So now you're replaced at 50% or 75%. Well, when somebody tells you that they're going to make you whole means I want to go back fully to where I was before this happened.
Right.
I don't want you to build half my house. The storm that blew my house down, and now I'm going to give half a house back, baby. I need the whole house to be replaced.
Right.
Up to today's code. So we also have to look at bringing, let's just say your home is older and you need to bring it up to spec. And now you can't do that because you underinsured it and it's not even covered for what it's worth, let alone to bring it up to code.
Absolutely. Now I just found that out recently, that if your home is worth $90,000, let's say your home is worth $90,000 and you got $40,000 with the insurance, so you ain't busted great. Right.
And don't let it be a house that is older. And then, because when you get in the rebuilding process, we learned this through Harvey. My house was older, and when you go to pull those permits and you had this wiring from the 60s and 70s, you didn't know, because you just living in the house. You updated what needed to be updated, but when you go to replace that, they're like, oh, we don't use that anymore. Well, how much is that? Well, that's double what it costs to put this stuff. Well, why do I need to do that? Well, because the state requires that there's a code. You know, you got planning and zoning and code regulations that have to be maintained, and they change that yearly. That's changed yearly. You might get into rebuilding your house and think, oh, I have enough coverage. You know, my house is only worth 90. Let's just say I have 90, but you get in the process of redoing something, and now it's got to be brought up to code. Well, code takes it up another $10,000 or $20,000 that you didn't even anticipate.
Right.
So that's why it's important to have an agent also that's knowledgeable and abreast of things that's constantly changing, because insurance has a lot of moving parts. And even in the rebuilding process, for a little while, I got into construction and I was a general contractor, and I just saw person after person after person who had insurance, probably with me. And that's why I went into construction, because I was thinking, man, I know they're trying to bring these people house up to code, but they just don't have it. I was thinking in my mind, I could do some contractor work for a cheaper amount and try to help my people pull themselves up. And I found that those contractors, they don't really have a heart. They don't really have a heart. If the price says $25 and they can get it for $12, they still gonna do it for $25. It doesn't, you know, it's not a bunch of wiggle room if you get the wrong contractor as well. Mm-hmm. So you have to be knowledgeable about all of these different moving parts when you're in the process of purchasing your insurance, because all of that's going to affect what you need to be made whole.
Yes, and would you please, Ladonna, share with the community about contractors and how to not just contractors, what the no-nos and what to do and what not to do.
Let me tell you, even with those contractors, and I know that we just had a hurricane, let me tell you the best thing that you can do. The best thing that you can do. Get three. Get three. 3 different contractors. I know that this work, it's a lot that goes into rebuilding after a storm. Oftentimes, you're going to type it in on your phone, because we use our phones for everything. Your phone is most likely going to send you to the person that purchased the biggest ad, the person who put their stuff out the most. They purchased the yellow page, the Google thing, and whatever, but they may be the most expensive person over the top. Get 3. That way you can, you know, the law of averages. You can kind of gauge what the quality is, what the, you know, customer service level may be, and who's just price gouging. Because if you look at the itemized list and they're both the same, but you see one person have it at, like I said, maybe $12.50, and one person have it at $25, but it's the same exact thing. Well, then you know that somebody's not being honest. You know, they're not, but it's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility to do your due diligence. It's your fiduciary responsibility to make sure that where you spend your money at, that you're getting the most bang for your buck. But what I would suggest is that you get 3 bids, look at it in depth, go down, up and down. See because there's always some extra additive in there. If you pay attention, there's always something extra in there. And then find somebody that you can gel with, that can kind of understand your mind frame. Because some of these contractors just don't care. It's like, it's their way or it's no way. Where we can do some other different things to save some money. Maybe we don't have to go with the most expensive stuff, or maybe there's a generic. They're not going to offer you that. My brother-in-law is right now redoing his house, and they want to give him, the state has allowed him like $5 a square foot, and they want to put linoleum in his house. Well, if you have half a brain, you know, he can get some tile for $5 a square foot. He can get slate for $5 a square foot. He can almost get marble if you go to the right place for $5 a square foot, but they're not going to tell you that, because that's money that they can make. You know what I mean? So sometimes you also have to look at the budget and see what items can be purchased for what. And a lot of people are running sales. Your contractor may not go and get the sale item. You may have to say, hey, pay that check to me. I'm going to purchase the item and get it delivered to you. And now that extra money can go to you, because it's no law stating that you have to use what their price guidelines are. If TWIA or Farmers gives you a price point and says, hey, we're going to allow $3 a square foot to replace the carpeting, your contractor comes in and say, oh, well, I got some carpet for $3 a square foot, but it may be the cheapest low-down rinky-dink thing that they can find. You may be able to find something twice as good for half as much. Now you've saved some money that can be applied to something else. These are the things that you have to look at with contractors. Look at what's being allowed and what they're producing for you. You know, because sometimes the quality is not worth what you're getting. You know what I mean? As a contractor, I got to see that. It was people that I could help and give them quality materials that somebody was going to give them something way cheaper. It wasn't going to last as long, and they were going to pay more for cheaper materials. I mean, these are things that just having somebody in your corner can matter the difference. I mean, and one day we'll go around my house and see what I was able to do on a budget that you wouldn't even believe. I mean, we actually got to keep a lot of our money. And I mean, we got high-end fixtures and granted, I mean, if I'm gonna go around here, but I picked out every material in this house after Harvey. Now, it took me a process. I had to go to a bunch of stores. I had to wait for things to go on sale. I had to use my coupons and things of that nature, but was it worth it? It was worth it. Versus me turning all my money over to a contractor who was going to get the cheapest stuff and then tell me, oh, act like they're doing me a favor.
Yeah, you're right. Now, I'm going to place this up here. The reason why I'm doing that is that buying the right insurance, making sure
Right.
you buy the right insurance, making sure you have the right coverage. We're just educating you on what can happen during this time of the year, or just any time you want to remodel
Right.
or
And make
restructure.
sure that, you know, you have an agent that's knowledgeable. Farmers actually sends their agents to an additional university. So on top of becoming licensed, when you work for Farmers is going to make, you seen that commercial? We cover it all because we seen it all. They
Right.
put their agents through the ringer. You're not going to become a farmer's agent and you're not knowledgeable about what's going on in insurance. It's just not going to happen.
Right. Now, and that's another thing. It's just like buying a house. You want the right agent, the one that you can have can relate to, and they know what you want and they know what you're looking for, and making sure they take care of you.
Right. And
Because
I tell people that are buying a house, it's great that you mentioned that as well, because when you purchase a home, that's the largest investment that you will make.
yes,
Your insurance matters when you buy a house. Who you have covering your property when you purchase that big purchase, you want to make sure that they are not over covering you or under covering you, because that house and valuation is key. Because I
mhm,
had a lady that came to me and she said, you know, Ladonna, I'm going to buy a house, and you know, the house is $450,000, and I wanted to see how much the insurance would be. And I go to JCAT and type in, you know, we put it in our little insurance computer, and I said, well, ma'am, the house valuation with TWIA and Farmers is only coming back at $395. You said it's how much? Well, it's being sold for $450. I said, well, they're getting over on you, because if you can't insure it for that, then you don't need to purchase it for that. And Farmers is not going to over insure a property. So with that being said, I actually made her, she got the house for an extremely lower price, because guess what? If your insurance, just think if I was just an agent to say, oh, let's just do it for 450. First of all, Farmers is going to stop you. They're only going to allow. She got her house for a cheaper amount based on the insurance from having the right agent. That matters. You see what I'm
mhm,
saying? They're
right.
selling you a house for $450,000. It's only valued at $395. The insurance company is not going to overcover your car. There's no sense in that. So, I mean, overcover your house. There's no sense in that. Well, she went and told them, well, the house is only worth so and so and so and so. And my insurance agent said so and so and so and so. Before you know it, it turned into a blessing for her. So your agent matters. You know, I
Hmm.
can't stress enough having somebody that's going to go the extra mile, that's going to do the extra little bitty checks and balances and check into different things. That matters.
Now, is there a deductible on say that we had a flood and no and you coverage got the right insurance, is that a deductible for it?
There's a deductible on everything. Okay.
Mhm.
So you set the limits on your deductible, though. You can do 0.5%, 1%, 2%, 2.5. All of that changes the
Right,
price. So
right.
your deductible is going to be based on, one, what the valuation is, and what you set as your percent that you're willing to eat. So when you say deductible, let me tell you what that means, because a lot of times people are like, well, what is a deductible? Why do I have a deductible? And this and that and blah, blah, blah. You're paying for insurance. Insurance is only going to cover you for like 80, 90%. That other 10% is on you. You have to eat. some of those costs. So let's say that I purchase a home and I want my deductible to be 1%. Well, that's $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So that $1,500 has to be paid before, or you can eat that cost. And when I say eat that cost, you just deduct that from whatever the total of the damages may be. So let's do a little bit of math, and I don't want to get too complicated. Let's say I purchase a house for $150,000, and I want to set my windstorm deductible at 1%. That's $1,500. Let's say a hurricane comes and damages my house. Well, I have $10,000 worth of damage, but I have a deductible that has to be met. So that $10,000 worth of damage that the insurance company may pay me, the full $10,000, what my deductible is they're going to take $1,500 out of that $10,000 and say that portion would be for you to cover. So basically, out of the $10,000, I'd be getting $8,500, and that other $1,500, that's either on me to pay out, or to see, like I said, as a contractor, where I can cut some costs to get my $10,000 worth of damages repaired for $8,500, because that's what the insurance company paid me. You follow me?
Right.
So this is where your contractor matters. So I had insurance, but I had a deductible. My deductible was $1,500. I don't have $1,500. Well, I can go to my contractor and say, hey, we need to cut back here, 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 and here. I know the insurance allowed me $3.50 a square foot, but I only want to pay $1.50. So what can we get for this $1.50? Or I know they gave me a budget of $2,000 for cabinets, but I can only spend $1,000 for cabinets, and maybe we can. So now I ate that cost, but I didn't spend any money. But if you don't have a contractor that's going to help you, that deductible is going to come out of your pocket.
You hear that, people? We're getting some information that's very helpful and will help us as we go forward after the hurricane. Laura has damaged quite a bit in our area. We were truly blessed here in Beaumont that we did not get the bullet. We dodged the bullet that time, and I thank God for just tilting him to the east a little, tilting Laura to the east a little bit, so that helped us out.
We don't want to wish that on people, but
no, we really don't. It is what it is, But let me tell you this: we are truly, truly blessed that it did, and we want to make sure. We want to make sure that we give a helping hand to our neighbors as well, and by that we also offer them important information on how to handle their business on their homes and maybe cars. And I know quite a few people here in Beaumont has had damage to their roofs and different things that has happened, even though we didn't get the brunt of the storm. But again, let me remind you and myself is that we are not out of the storm, because we're still in hurricane season. We're headed to the peak of hurricane season, and we need to have coverage. We need to have the right insurance. We want to make sure we've got it covered, so it won't.
And benefits are better than begging and borrowing. So
that's right.
Money when it matters most, instead of depending on other people and waiting for people to show up who may never come or don't want to help you or don't care about what you got going on. If you pay for your insurance, then you can demand that benefit. You can demand that privilege. I need my money, and it's my money, and I need it now.
That's right. We are in the period we live in where we've got to be prepared and be ready. And again, Knowledge is Power Podcast Live is just this show is different from all the other podcasts because we're not entertainers. We are just normal people. We just want to make sure that we educate you with the right information, the right coverage, the right benefits. I love doing this because it's helping someone out, and we might miss somebody, but we're gonna get somebody. And if we touch one person, we've done our job. We've done our job here, and this is why we do this show every Sundays and Tuesday. So let me remind the audience why you're here, and if you have questions, please comment in the comment box so that we can answer those questions for you. So you might know someone who is in need right now, and make sure you share this this podcast with everyone you know. Just share it everywhere so they can get that information. I'm pausing here for a minute because I want to get to this that I promised that I want to do at all time, and that is we've got an election coming up in November the 3rd, and we need you to vote. We need everyone to vote, and we've got candidates that we are supporting, and I want you to know that we're going all blue on here on knowledge is power. We're going all blue, and we've got candidates that we are supporting, and these are the candidates we're supporting. Let me go here. Here, we're electing Jay Stederberg for the Texas Senate District 4. He's on the ballot as well, and we've got our sheriff. We re-elect our sheriff, Zena Stevens. And early voting, by the way, early voting begins October the 13th. And we have a young lady that's who is a write-in for the county commissioner. Her name is Dr. Marinette Parkinson. So let's support our local people that's here and that we are supporting. That's going to look after us, like we just talked about insurance. Making sure you have the right agent that looking out for you. We need the right candidates that we're going to look out. That's going to look out for us in the future. And we also have Joe Desautel and Javon Pollard, who is running for Constable, Jefferson County Constable. And I don't have their push cards or flyers yet, but we're going to get it. And I'm going to promote these people in every show on Knowledge is Power. On Thursday, I have a special show that we do every first Thursday. Every first Thursday is called the Roundtable. We talk about local issues, and if you want to join that show with us on this Thursday, please send me your email address, and I'll I'll comment your email address in the comment box, and I'll send you a link to link into the show so you can enjoy that that time with us and just discuss what you want to discuss locally. And we appreciate you because we want to know how you feel out in the community. I want to thank my guests here. I've got Kevin Jackson, who has been watching the show. D Mac Holden, she's a Cowboy fan. She's joined us as well. And thank you for watching. And I've got to say hello to Terry Roy. He's one of my favorite guys. He's always on watching the show, and gonna be a good one. Yeah. Also, he's letting you know he's going to be on the Thursday evening roundtable talk show that we're just talking about talk. It's going to be a good one. And we want you to join us on 8 o'clock on Thursday. This Thursday and Sunday. This Sunday, this is going to be a very interesting show. So everybody in the African American community in the Golden Triangle, Southeast Texas, needs to watch this show next Sunday. Sunday, I would have Dr. Deborah Nell Williams joining me, and the topic of this show is living with diabetes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's going to be a show. How to live with how to manage, how to control your diabetes. And she's going to give us all the goodies on living with diabetes. And it's a lot of us in the African Americans has diabetes or high blood pressure that causes diabetes. A lot of things that cause diabetes, and we're living with diabetes, and we're struggling with it at times. And then we have a lot of them that are having dialysis daily, twice or 3 times a week. And we just want to help you with the right diet and food to eat and how to take care of your diabetes. And she's going to be with us on Sunday at 7 o'clock. We're going to move that show to 7 o'clock Sunday. So please join me and Ladonna Sherwood, my co-host, as we welcome Dr. Deborah Williams, who's going to be talking about living with diabetes. And Sister Alice Ramsey. She said hello, and how are we getting out to vote block by block? Yes, we are. We're going to go block, 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 block. We're going to go block by block, and we're going to vote like we never voted before. And we're going to vote for the right candidate. We're voting all blue, folks. Blue who? Let's see here. And I've got here let's say hello to Reginald Fontenot. And he's saying, you guys are amazing. Keep it up. Thank you, Reginald. I appreciate it. Sometimes I think about like giving up sometimes. I said, no, I can't. I got to keep doing this. And I can't stop. I got to keep moving on. We've got to keep moving on. Let's see here. And Terry is saying we need to do a special on prostate and colon cancer for Black men. Yes, that is coming up also as well, Terry. Thank you for reminding me. It's on my calendar. It's on a date. I don't know what the date is on that, but we're going to have a show on prostate and colon cancer for Black men. That is very important. And I also wanted to. I had something. Ladonna, you had something you want to mention here, if I haven't forgotten.
No, I was looking for our lady with the NAACP.
Yes, I'm waiting on her to
about the supply drive and the donations that we're going to take over to Orange and Lake Charles. But
right, we expected Bequite Hernandez Smith. She's the founder of Love Thy Neighbors Beaumont, and sharing with she's going to be sharing with the community on the help that we need to help our neighbors in Orange, Texas, and what they need, and Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Right.
I used to own a dealership in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I know quite a few people there, and I feel for them. I know what they've gone through. We've gone through it twice, 3 times.
Right.
And so I know what they're going through and how I feel to be in.
And I went to the NAACP office today, and the donations are picking up. So we want to thank you guys. We want to appreciate the people that have been donating and volunteering to bring diapers and water and non-perishables and just dropping that stuff off. We're really trying to make a really big effort to just help out the people that are in need. So if I could just make a little mini push for the NAACP, we're taking donations of food items, clothing items, diaper items, feminine, hygiene product items, anything that you feel like you can donate. You can bring it to the NAACP office. We're open Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. And then in the afternoon, we're going to be there from 6 to 8 on Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to try to get some things donated there on Friday. We're going to try to have some food trucks. If you want to make a monetary donation, you can do that to the NAACP as well. We just want to help out our neighbors in Orange and Lake Charles. And we want to put together a really huge effort, diapers, wipes, things that you think, soap, laundry detergent, anything that you think that you can drop off that you may have extra or that you just want to go out and purchase. We really, really, really would appreciate it. And for the people that already have, we appreciate you. We are super excited that the donations are really picking up, and everybody's getting involved. Whatever you can do, you can help.
Yes, you can help. It doesn't matter what it is. The size of the monies or the size of the donation. Just send it out to us, and we'll make sure we get to get it to the people that is in need right now. Right. We're going to go back to insurance now. We're making sure we have the right insurance, because I have a question for one of that from a comment from Reginald Fontenot before, he's wanted to ask this question here. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me go back to this one first.
Oh yes. I was supposed to go back. That's a great question. I was gonna bring it up earlier when you said something, and I was thinking, it's also important that people pay their life insurance, because in the middle of these disasters, please believe that some people are not going to make it. And let me tell you, we don't want to hold a fish fry in your honor or, be passing around a donation bucket. Life insurance is affordable. Life insurance is affordable. Let me say that again. Life insurance is affordable. It's important that we get in the practice of not just leaving behind bills. And I'm not trying to be funny, but we owe it to our legacy, to the people that are coming behind us, to at least try to have life insurance to cover the expenses at our final. It's affordable. Life insurance is affordable. You can get whole life insurance. You can get term life insurance. And with farmers, they do have policies that are no medical insurance required. No medical physicals required. And you don't have to produce all your medical history. Now, those policies aren't going to give you grandioso amounts, but you can purchase policies without having a physical, without having to produce your medical records. I know a lot of times people will say, well, I have pre-existing conditions, or I had cancer. Can I still be covered? You can still be covered. There is an insurance policy that will cover you, and it is affordable and it is necessary. And I can't express enough that we have to get in the mind frame of leaving behind something a little bit more than just a bill. Please, people, call us. We can help. The phone number is 409-835-3935. Life insurance is vital. It's almost like the air that you breathe. You need it because, I mean, we're leaving behind people that may need to fix some things or tie up some loose ends and different things of that nature. And we just want to make sure that we're not a burden at the end of life. That we want to make sure that we take care of our business all the way through to the end. And that's really important. That it really is important. Yes, we can talk about insurance, but life insurance is one of those things where different factors do play a part. So depending on if you want to get a whole life insurance means for the whole of your life. And that policy will generate money that you can draw against. A term life policy, sometimes you can draw against those as well, but it's only for a set term, 10 years or 20 years or whatever the term limit is that you set. All life insurance, whole life and term life, are both affordable, depending on what your needs may be, depending on what your health conditions may be, depending on what your budget may be. There's a life insurance policy for you, for sure.
Oh, it's bad. Hey, you know, that's wonderful. That's, you explain it the way it needs to be explained, and it is simple and easy. And not
Yes.
just to get off the life insurance and term insurance. Just explain just a little bit to just the difference between a life and a whole. Just, you don't have to stay
A
on it long,
whole
but
life
just
policy, a whole life policy is going to go with you till the end. A term life policy is only going to be for a set term, meaning if I'm 65 and my term, at the end of my term, your policy is terminated. It doesn't go, if you,
yeah.
let's just say I purchased a term life policy and I'm 65 and I live to be 77. Well, guess what? My policy only was, oh boy, that's a little tricky, but anyway,
Yeah.
term policies have a specific term limit. Whole life policies cover you for the whole of your
Mm,
life. It's not
right.
set on a certain amount of years. That's basically the biggest difference between. Now, the price points are going to be different because a whole life insurance policy is going to probably be a little bit more expensive. And I always try to tell people up front, you know, I'm an honest person. A whole life policy may cost you a little bit more than a term life policy because the term is only going to cover you till that term. And when the term is over, sure, you can extend it, but the price is going to go up. So really, life insurance is about
Mm-hmm.
budgeting. It's about how much coverage
Mm-hmm.
you think you may need to cover your final expenses and how much money do you have that you can spend monthly in the event of, and then there's accidental death policies. And so there's different types of things that you can, and kids, you know, people don't think about getting life insurance on children. They sometimes can become riders on different policies, or you can purchase a separate policy for children. It's better to purchase insurance when you're younger, if I could just offer that suggestion. The younger, healthier, more vibrant you are is when you want to purchase a whole life policy, and it'll be reasonably inexpensive and all of these different things. Now, the older you get and the more life takes its course, those are going to be the more expensive policies. But the term life policy, when you're up in age, is going to be least expensive than a whole life policy when you're up in age. But life insurance can be purchased at any age. Make no mistake. We can work with you. We can follow whatever your budget may be and get you the coverage that you will need to take care of those end of life expenses
All right.
that we're all going to incur. We're all going to go that way. So we don't
That's
need to
right.
let that be a taboo conversation. Sometimes talking about life insurance is a little bit taboo, and people don't want to talk about it. And who wants to talk about death and dying and the funerals and this and that and the other? Well, it's coming, okay? One day, your number's going to be up. We're all going to kick the bucket one day.
We're gonna go one day.
One day.
And the way and one day we're gonna go with something. I don't know, but we're gonna go away somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about insurance, and I think I want you to cover one other thing, and I want to kind of brush into a little bit of my financial stuff because our time is kind of limited.
Okay.
But and I'll do this on another show, the personal, and I'll explain to everyone of the things I like to talk about, and that's personal finance and how to explain how to budget yourself, how to spend less than what you earn, and things like that. And how to pay off your high interest debt faster. And I will go over those things with you guys on another show. And right now, we didn't expect to even have a show tonight because of the evacuation, folks. And I have been out in the community helping others get back on their feet again and helping them supply their needs. And I want to encourage those who are watching and listening to help. Let's help our neighbors. And we've been in this spot. We've been in their shoes before. And again, like I was saying, I know quite a few people in Lake Charles area, Louisiana, and because I've owned a dealership there for 10 years, and my heart is weak because of what I know they're going through, but we've been through it too. So let's help them like they helped us in our last storm that we've had, the last flood we had. So we're going to be there. This is why we've want to make sure that whatever you can supply to the NAACP, it'll be very helpful. I hope to have them on as well. And I also,
That would be great.
again, I'm waiting on the young lady that she was on another podcast right now. And since we started early, we kind of started at the same time. Our show started at the same time that show started, and they was already committed to that show. But hopefully, we can have them on to let us explain to them what their and share with us about Love Thy Neighbors and what Love Thy Neighbors are doing. And also, before we end, Donna, I'm going to flash this on here because I really want to talk about it, but we don't have the time. But I also want to talk about it. It is very important. And we're talking about financing.
Oh, yes.
Let me get this banner off here. Yeah, let's see here. This banner. Let's see here. Let me get this banner off, and we can let you see what we're
Oh,
talking.
yeah. That's
Okay,
just,
there we go. No,
that's
not that one. Not that one. Not that one.
both
Wait a
of them.
minute.
You need to get both of them off.
I'm trying to. Wait a minute.
Wait,
Let's see.
find the right home, car, flood, hell,
Yeah,
windstorm, and
that I did that. That's over here. Let's get that off here. Let's see. When you're doing this, when you're doing this, you
yeah,
produce the show and you're managing the show. So that's not there. Let me go here. There it is.
there
All
it is.
right, there it. When I first started doing the podcast, and I started with talking about financing and how to manage your financing and what to do with your financing. And but the most important thing before you really get started with your financing, make sure your credit report is updated. Make sure you're current with your credit. So I post this up here so you know that you kind of take a screenshot of it or whatever. But make sure you check your credit report. Go to your credit report, the annual credit report, which is free, and you can get all three reports. So you can get this done once a year, and it's free. All three reports.
And you know what I noticed? If you do it online too, they even have a dispute button. So if you see something on there that shouldn't be on there, they will generate a dispute letter right on the spot
Yeah.
at some of these sites. They not wait till later on. If you see some discrepancies on there, you can kind of hit a little thing. They have links now. The one I'm trying to think. Credit Karma, different.
Right.
Credit wise, even through Capital One, if you see something that's on that you can hit a button, baby, and they will generate something, and either they will send you something back in the mail saying, "Oh, we feel like this is valid," or they will remove it right on the spot.
Right on the spot. Right on the spot. You can remove those credit. You can remove those.
Some discrepancies, sometimes
It's
you may
right
have
on
something
your.
on there that's a
Also,
discrepancy
yeah, you
or
can. And
valid or doesn't even apply to you, or you might even find out that you've been hacked. Or I saw where a lady was what do you call that? Identity theft. She had
right.
things on there that were not even her stuff. So you want to do that yearly. You want to do that.
Right. And also, if you've got a charge off, and that charge off, you know you have a charge off, that charge off is a year, 2 years old, 3 years old, don't go and pay it off. Leave it alone, because it's still going to be a charge off.
Right.
I
It's still
don't
gonna
care
be
how you
showing
paid
just
it.
the way.
It's
Right.
going to say charge off, but paid charge off, and
Right.
it's still a hickey on
Have the same
your credit. Right.
point deduction that it would have if you did pay it or didn't pay it.
Right, and you can dispute those too. So
Right.
go and get that off of there. And if by law, if they don't respond to you, and if they do respond to you, you dispute it again. If they don't respond to you the next time, that has to come off. It will come
Right.
off. So these are things I want to talk about when we talk about building wealth. I was going to talk about it, but our time has passed us up. And we're also going to talk about how to create a wealth mindset, how to write down what you want, envision your future, affirm your desires, and listen to your inner voice that's talking to you on what you're doing, and take action and transform it. And hold on to your vision. Don't give up on your vision. And
That's
every
right.
vision, your vision might be different from someone else. Don't give up on your vision. And we'll talk about that on another show. And I appreciate you guys joining me every Tuesdays and Sundays. And also I'm going to talk about how to manage your money during this crisis. And if your income is not stable, I'm going to go step by step how to do that. And it'll be a good show, just
That's
one
going to
on
be
one.
a very good show. That's going to
Yeah,
be a very good show. And let me tell
right.
you, as a young person, I've had to make, I've been in business since 2006. I've had to make some huge adjustments because let me tell you, when I first started, I was making money hand over fist. And baby, I was spending it as fast as I made it. And so I had to sit down and take a step back and kind of get reeled in. Like my mother and the elders and people had to kind of reel me in. Like, what are you doing with your money and why this and this and that? So that's going to be huge. And I'm happy to be a part of that because sometimes when the elders do tell you things, you really don't receive it. But when I tell some of my stories on that show, you're going to be like, people are going to be like, oh, well, maybe I should listen to her because I have messed up some money, honey.
That's it.
Thousands of
I have to.
dollars.
I've blown it and blew it and blown it
Okay,
again.
okay.
Yeah. Hey guys,
Right.
again, please go if you have not completed your survey, census survey. You can go online to www.2020census.gov to complete your survey. Remember that, and also we need help on block by block voting, registering and picking up. Not block by block by block, registering you to vote, and we're going to get out and vote big. We're going to vote
I don't
big.
want to. I just want to chime in on the census. Please fill out your census like your life depends on it. We need that census filled out because it's a dollar sign attached to that census in your community and monies that are being allocated that we're not going to get if you're not counted. So fill out the census, okay? The census is not a conspiracy that they want to come in your house and mind your business and take your kids and all of these negative things that you've probably heard. We need that money for the census. That's why they don't want you to fill out that census. Fill it out, fill it out, fill it out, fill out the census.
That's right. They don't want us to fill out because they don't want us to have that money. That's quite a bit of money that's coming to our community.
Fill out that census.
So again, um, Thursday, join me and my guys, a group of guys and females or women or whatever who likes to join us. Join us Thursday at 8 o'clock. The round table talk. Everybody have a show called Pillow Talk, Blue Table Talk,
Red Table Talk,
and Violet Table Talk. Join us Thursday for our once a month talk show, round table talk show. We get down. Everything goes on this show. So, John, you're gonna join us. You're gonna come on Thursday with us.
I'm super excited. I mean, am I allowed to join you guys?
Yeah, come on, hey, and everything goes on that show. So, and Thursday, join us if you'd like to, and those who like to join us, inbox me or comment in the comment box your email address, and we will link you into the show. And again, Sunday, finally Sunday. Dr. Deborah Neal Williams will be with us as we talk about living with diabetes. So again, folks, thank you again for joining us with Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, LinkedIn, and I think got going to be having another destinations coming on. So we're going to be all over social media. If you have any questions, please inbox me or in the comment box or text me, call. I would love to answer some of the questions that we're
Right.
talking about right now. And if you're watching us at a later date, please, you can still contact us. So thank you again. Please share my page, like it, and we love you. God bless you, and hope all is well. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.